Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Art and Outdoor Life here with John. I'm using cerulean blue for the sky, and I'm also going to be using Prussian blue. So, when I started doing this painting, um, I wanted somewhat of a seascape, okay? And I'm going to take you to through this venture here. That's the Prussian blue right there against cerulean blue for the sky. And if you know me, I don't listen to music. Most of the time, I just come in here and I paint. I usually have an idea what I want to paint in my mind. But in this case, I didn't know. And I was basically getting my painting done, just relaxing. Now this is raw umber. You can see it's very wet on the paper, as well as in on the palette. It's also very wet. Off to my right is a paint holder. It holds your paintbrushes. It's only like $5. I was able to I'm able to fit in on that holder on the right my hake brushes. I was shocked. Couldn't believe they fit in there. Anyways, so everything's wet on wet here, okay? And this is real time. And while I was looking at this, painting this, okay, right now I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, I want the sky to be a little bit more, I want some purple, violet in the sky, I don't want it completely blue, This is what I'm thinking in my mind. I didn't come in here and say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then, about halfway through this painting, I started thinking, I don't know why, but I started thinking about Greenland. I last week or the week before, I had did some research on Greenland, and I also looked online on, and I found a documentary on Greenland. Okay, I think what you'll find maybe most interesting on this painting is how I changed things up and how I actually add the mountain in the back. Again, this is, off the fly. That's how many of my paintings are. I'm using, just only a few brushes and only a few colors here. Cerulean blue, rose red, burnt umber, or burnt sienna, raw umber, a pale yellow, and a touch of white. I'm using a card, and I'm using just a napkin, paper towel right there. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of trying to pat dry it because everything is so wet, right? Like, how do you pull these off, in 15 minutes, Well, you kind of got to be on your toes. Now, see, with the color mixture that I had put in there, and along with the paper towel, I was able to create some clouds with you know, they look kind of gray, even though you know, they're really not. Yeah, just a touch of white here and there. And, okay, what started out, being kind of a seascape ended up being Greenland from the documentary I had seen a few weeks ago. And if Greenland is a mysterious place. There's a lot of natives there, and Denmark is it's a part of Denmark, but yet it's also a part of its own country. And I didn't know that Greenland actually goes up to the Arctic Circle. Greenland has its own sea, and as huge as the island is, the country, not many people live there. And I was looking at, when I was watching a documentary on it, this documentary had brought, and I'm putting some Prussian blue over here. This documentary I was watching, it had a photographer on the board, it had an artist on board, a painter. It had, these people that study the earth, just, geologists and all kinds of people. And they went there on a schooner. And, and it was probably about this point in the painting, I'm guessing, that I was like, I want this to be Greenland. Yeah, there's that joke. Yeah, Greenland isn't green and Iceland isn't ice. uh, but it's a very serious. I think the people of Greenland and the country of Greenland, and especially the natives, deserve a lot of looking into. They have their own traditions. Very few people on the huge country, and many of them on the southwestern corner of the country, which is close to, not far off from Canada. So I'm using the card for different effects here. As you see, like when I scrape houses and structures and trees and rocks and things, whenever you scrape something with a card or a palette knife, you're going to get the color that's underneath it. So you see that blue in there, right? Anyways, so basically, and for me, using the card is a part of painting. It's art. Art is very subjective, and it's such a very small landmass of water here that was supposed to be a seascape, right? But you're going to see how I changed this up. Okay, so this is the burnt sienna coming in here. Why was I putting burnt sienna in there? I don't know. I know I was wanting to put shapes. That's all I was thinking in my mind, was shapes. And I wasn't looking at values in this painting, but I was looking at shapes, and I was looking at, green, not necessarily green, but blue and red are complementary, right? So that's, why I put the burnt sienna in there, because it has that red pigment in there, and going against the, the Prussian blue and the blue sky. And we got violet in the sky, which is, red and blue. Um, and then I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? Because I'm adding shapes, but at the same time, I'm feeling out what's in my mind. Now I'm like, okay, I want to make this Greenland. How do you make Greenland when you've never been there and you've hardly seen any photos of Greenland? Well, I remember seeing that documentary about it about 2 weeks ago, and they were on Greenland. I was like, okay, so there's the mountain, right? There's the mountain. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? Well, this is fast and loose. And, of course, you got to remember fast and loose is not something that you try to do fast. Fast and loose is pretty much prima, alla prima. You sit there, you do it at one time. Fast and loose, to me is, I'm not going to take the time to blow dry, to dry off my painting with a blow dryer. Fast and loose is alla prima to me. So I'm using just a touch of white here and a little bit more brown. I do have some pale yellow I'm mixing it with. And so, I'm trying to create a little bit of that North Atlantic, the ocean. Maybe that's the Greenland Sea. Did you know there was a Greenland Sea? And so I'm putting my blues in there, and they're turning in, it's almost looking green, Well, with the yellow, the pale yellow in the Prussian blue, yeah, you're going to get your darker green. And so I was just kind of fooling around with this. I just want to say that this is my first painting after the new year. This is 2025 now. And come later on in the spring, it'll be my second year with this channel. And I really want to say thank you to everybody and you, if you're viewing it for the first time or if you've been watching me progress. One thing that I've learned about creating painting videos, on here on YouTube, and I'm trying to get texture there, like add a little kind of tree stuff. One of the learning experiences I've gotten out of this is that I learn a lot about myself and my own paintings. And I look back at the very first video I did here, and even just a few months ago, and I'm always getting better, but these videos are my paintings are just, they're off the fly, most of them. But I want to thank you so much for viewing. I can't thank you enough. One day somebody will be inspired by this, and hopefully it's you. I want to wish you a good day, a good evening, a good morning, wherever you are and whenever you are watching this. Now see, putting out just a little bit of white turns into that mid-tone, that gray, and it kind of brings out everything. And then what I'm going to do here is, because, this is, like I said, off the fly, I'm just relaxing here. Put in some rocks. those structures in the back could be houses, you know. But thank you very much for watching, and please considering subscribing and liking, and I want to wish you a wonderful day. Thank you very much for viewing. I really appreciate it. I don't make any money off these. Sincerely yours, John. So my attempt here was to pretty much create rocks in the foreground and some tree stuff with this card. It was a good day. It was a good painting. I mean, you know, for the idea, it's all about the idea, your own personal experience, you know. Not about a good painting, but, you know, learning.